Attention Cloud9 shoppers, this is the Superstory Podcast, a Superstore fan podcast with Matthew Haas and Michael E. Cullen II.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Superstory Podcast.
Bum 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 bum. Dun-dun.
That was beautiful.
NBC.
My name is Michael E. Cullen II. I am your host, and with me as always is our co-host, Matthew Haas.
Hello. Who's our?
Well,
Is it our co-host? Who's the other person?
well, the show is like an hour.
Oh, I got you.
Like,
It's like a
I'm
sentient
part of
being.
the yeah,
Okay.
the general hour.
Cool. I like that.
General hour. I served under him in Nam.
Yeah. I'm a good co-host, I think.
I am too.
We're co-hosts.
Yeah.
We're.
Well, there's
We're-
two of us, so
well,
we're co-hosts.
I guess it makes sense.
Yes. Just like, Kelly and Ryan.
Yeah.
They're co-hosts.
Kelly and Ryan. What's that?
Kelly Ripa and Ryan Seacrest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't watch that show.
Me either. Okay. So,
Yeah.
should I say like Regis and Kathy Lee?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know who they are, yeah.
Hoda and Kathy Lee now? I
No,
know.
don't know.
Attention Cloud9 Associates, it is now time for orientation.
So, folks, Superstore is what we're talking about. Today we're talking about episode 1. Episode 7 of season 1.
Yeah.
It's Color Wars. It
It aired.
it originally aired January 25th of 2016. Okay.
Good date.
Yes. And so we're going to start this episode out with our beautiful first segment, which is orientation.
Ooh, what's that?
Okay, basically what we're going to do is we're going to name the episode, which is Color
Oh.
Wars, which we already did. And we're going to talk... Okay, the director was Andy Ackerman. Writers were Jason Spitzer, who created the show, and Jake Kukoda was also the executive story editor, and he wrote this episode.
Cool.
So, you know all of that facts. Andy Ackerman, just in case you're wondering, folks, is known for directing things like Cheers and Seinfeld and WKRP in Cincinnati, among a million other things. Like he directed just recently 2 episodes of The Conners, including the
right.
the series premiere of The Conners, the Roseanne spinoff. Yes. Which Matt and I coincidentally just watched earlier tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, so
It's good.
anyways, Badum,
Bada boom, bada bing, bada boom, bada bing, bada bum, 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 bada bada bum, 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 bada bum, bum.
You guys didn't know this was a musical episode, right?
Yes. Whole thing's gonna break into song real soon.
Okay, so right now, let's move into a little bit of a summary of the episode. Can you give us a little summary of what happened in this episode here, Matt?
Yeah, every year Glenn has a day called the Color Wars where people get different color t-shirts. One is gold and the other is red. And whoever sells the most merchandise gets a prize. And this year's prize was a pizza party. And no one was really that excited over, a pizza party. So he ends up accidentally telling Amy that there was $100 prize for each person on each team who won. And he wanted to save that as like a surprise at the end. So she tried to use that information to rally her team to sell more merchandise, but not tell anyone on the red team so they could have an advantage over them because everyone was being lazy about it because they weren't excited about pizza.
Yes.
But then eventually, of course, the red team finds out. So then they're pretty much at war with each other trying to sell more merchandise. That's like the gist of the...
Yeah. And yes, and in this episode we have the introduction of Adam, who is Adam Dubanowski, who is Amy's husband, and he's getting sold stuff by Jonah, who doesn't know that it's Amy's husband. He's trying to, sell him stuff he doesn't need.
And Amy pretty much kept demanding that he do that because he wasn't
customers.
He wasn't really trying to sell it. So finally he did that, and it happens to be Amy's husband that he's swindling basically $2,000 of merchandise.
Poor Jonah.
I know, poor Adam.
Yeah,
Adam. He's nice, but he's got a naivete to him.
Oh yeah,
he's very
definitely
Hi, everybody. This is Michael E. Cullen II from the podcast you're listening to right now. With me, as always, is
Matthew Hassa.
Yeah, and we're here to tell you about our really cool other podcast called All Too Real 2. And what do we do on that show, Matt?
We watched the greatest direct-to-video sequels of all time, and then we report on them.
And we also talk about other pop culture cool things like video games and conspiracy theories and other awesome things. So if any of that sounds fun to you and you enjoy hearing my voice and Matt's voice,
as you should.
I mean, of course. Tune in anywhere you get podcasts to All Too Real 2. Bye-bye.
Attention Cloud9 Associates, our employee of the week is...
Okay, Matt, who was your favorite character in this episode and why?
Just Jonah, because he had the best lines I think so far. I was trying to write him down as fast as I could, but when he's trying to sell the cheaper coffee maker to this guy who literally told him that money was no object and that he's willing to spend whatever the item costs, and Jonah's still trying to sell him the cheaper one. So even with Jonah's ethics, there's really no problem here because he's not selling a poor person something that they can't afford. This is a guy who has money. And
he just won the lotto.
And he's still choosing to stick with his guns. And Amy overhears it, so she yells at him about that. And tells him, quit pussyfooting around. And then the customer walks by. He goes, "I'm not doing that with my feet." That type of mentality of Jonah where he doesn't want to repeat things a certain way. And when he was selling Adam all that cookout equipment, he goes, "Look out, cookout."
Yeah.
Goes, "What is that?" He goes, "Oh, that's just something my nana used to say." I don't know. It's just good stuff.
I think for me, this episode, I did like Jonah a lot, but for one reason and one reason only, Glenn is my favorite.
Oh, really?
Because throughout the episode, Glenn and Dina, because Dina's bird Jeremy died, and to cheer her up, Glenn is having her help plan the pizza party, which is different than a pizza dinner.
Yeah.
Because when you just have pizza, that's a pizza dinner, but when you have a party, you need decorations and stuff, so that's a pizza party.
Well, it's just like how in the office when Andy tried and what's her? I forgot her name. Her real name's Mindy, I think.
Oh, Mindy was her name on the show.
And she goes, "Yeah, well, what's the other elements?" He goes, "What do you mean?"
No, her name wasn't Mindy on the show. I can't remember now, but yeah.
I'm blanking. But she's like, "Yeah, well, what are the other elements? It's just pizza. It's not a party. You got to have something else for it to qualify as a party." It's true, though. You got to have something.
Yeah. And so, but my favorite thing is just one line that Glenn says in this episode, and it says, "Balloons are like our souls. They want to go up, but can't. And when you pop them, they scream." I don't know, but it's my favorite line of Glenn's ever in this whole series. So.
How do souls pop exactly? That's what I want to know.
Who knows?
I don't understand what that
Nobody
means.
just says, when you pop them, they scream. I don't know.
Is going to hell mean pop?
Maybe.
I don't know what that means, what he's supposed to... Yeah.
I have no idea. It's just Glenn.
It's a Glennism.
It's a Glennism,
Yeah.
and I love him. So, yeah, Glenn's great for those little one-liners that make no sense to anyone but him.
Attention Cloud9 shoppers, today's special is...
This is what another thing here, and I guess I can probably already say that I answered this sort of in this thing, but what is the best scene in the episode? This is part of today's special.
Oh, man. There's too many in this one. I mean, I like the one with Jonah when he's trying to sell all this stuff, and Jonah's going, completely out of his element here because he's not really into, cookout culture and barbecue and football, but he's Adam asks him, goes, well, are you a charcoal guy or a gas guy? He goes, if you even have to ask that question, you're not a real grill guy. He's like, yeah, so true.
I gotta use that.
I gotta use that. And then they're going on more, and Jonah's like, yeah, football, cars, and porn. He's just trying to think of things that a stereotypical guy.
That got all awkward.
Yeah, so Adam's like, okay. And so
funny.
There's that, and I think my other favorite scene is when Garrett is using the fact that he's in a wheelchair by blaming inferior products as the reason why he's in a wheelchair to try to upsell people. The bike, oh yeah, I used to ride this bike before the wheels, before what was it? I forgot, the pedal stopped working.
The pedal stopped working, and then then he says, when I got out of the coma after they taught me how to speak again, I said I wish I had this helmet or whatever.
Right.
I guess I like another Garrett thing too. Another scene here is where there's I don't know if it's my favorite though, but towards the end is where Garrett is reading the cake, because the guy that was making the cake only understands English phonetically, so he was writing everything down that they said, and it was everything that Dina and Glenn were saying to each other, and just Garrett reading it off the cake was pretty funny. But
yeah,
I also thought Cheyenne was pretty good at the beginning of the episode. Mm-hmm. After she's finding out that Dina's crying about the bird, and she's like, I had him since he was a little, and then she breaks down into tears, and then I don't know, just the funniness of Cheyenne saying bird. I think she was going to say bird. Yeah, or something like that. I don't remember, but yeah,
that was it.
It was a pretty funny episode though overall. Hey folks, this is Michael E. Cullen II from the podcast that you're listening to right now, along with
Matthew Haas.
We just wanted to tell you about our great podcast called Super. It's called All Too Real. And on that show, what do we do, Matt?
We watch biopics, and then we talk about whether or not the movie matched up with the real story or not.
So it
was a lot more exciting than that, though.
Yeah, so we analyze the real story and the real story.
Get it?
Get it?
Real.
Yeah, they're spelled differently, folks. You can guess which one I said which way. Anyways, so sometimes we have a guest, sometimes we don't. But we talk about great movies like Shattered Glass and The Social Network and Futile and Stupid Gesture, among others. Those are some of the ones that we've covered so far, and we're going to cover a lot more. So please subscribe on Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you find your great, fun podcasts. And be sure to share it with your friends.
Do it.
And make sure you're not afraid to get all too real. Bye-bye.
Attention Cloud 9 Associates, it's time to grab your go-backs.
Yeah, okay, so what scenes that could have been redone or done better in this episode? Any that you know of or think of, Matt?
Yeah, the scene when Glenn was saying them trading off ideas was jazz, and they were just doing that scat singing. I wasn't a huge fan of that scene. I don't know. It wasn't bad. I just didn't like it that much.
I found it kind of funny myself, so I don't know. That's just me. But I just like Mark McKinney though, so I don't know. For me, I don't know of anything that I could really take back from this episode. This is actually one of my favorite episodes of the show, so that's probably why. I mean, I love the whole not knowing that Adam is her husband thing in the episode. I just love I don't know. I love the whole thing with Brett being able to sell things. I like a lot of this episode. So there's
That's right.
Brett can sell shelves, and he can sell the nacho cheese dispenser from the cafeteria or
How
whatever.
He goes, man knows how to close.
He never talks.
He doesn't. He never talks ever.
Yeah, he doesn't speak. I think until the second or third season, he has one word.
Yeah,
but yeah,
kind of reminds me of the guy from Outsourced. There was a character that never spoke.
Oh, was there?
In that show, he just really looked stern.
I need to rewatch that series. I watched it when it was originally on, but I've forgotten most of it. Yeah, but I guess, I mean, if anything, I don't know, I would have liked a little bit more development in some of the background characters, because they had scenes and stuff, like this girl that basically slept with a customer.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, it would have been nice for her to actually speak, but she didn't speak at all in the episode or something.
And I don't think she ever shows up anymore.
No, she's never in any.
Okay.
Like, most of these background actors are never in another episode. And I find that kind of weird. But,
Yeah.
I mean, but then again, I've worked in a superstore, and there have been people that I see like once or twice, and then I never see them again.
They might work there for like 2 weeks or a month.
Yeah, or whatever. Or they just work so many different shifts than I do, so I never see them. You know, like they work during midday shift or something, and I didn't see them.
Yeah.
So,
Attention Cloud9 shoppers, the store will be closing soon.
Any thoughts? Other thoughts on the episode?
Oh, it was a great episode. I mean, it was one of my favorites. It was funny all around. There wasn't really any break in the humor. It was pretty much just constant. So
yeah,
you know, I was just writing down these lines. You know, if I was doing it through the whole episode, I probably would have had a lot more than I had. Because there were so many good lines this episode. But yeah, I would recommend like if you were just like starting out, I would recommend like, you know, I mean, I recommend a chronological order, but like if that's not your thing, I would recommend this is one of the episodes.
You can skip a couple of the early ones, in
Yeah.
my opinion, but I mean they're still good. But you know, yeah, just jump in on this one and you'd still be okay. Yeah, and you can find us. You know, you can find us at you know, Superstory Podcast. You can look us up on Facebook and all the other good social media platforms, I'm sure. And you can find us at cullenpark.com. Any questions for me particularly, you can email me at mike@cullenpark.com. And for right now, I guess the store is closed.
Sorry.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
This is a Superstory podcast, a Superstore fan podcast.
A Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.